Hey, welcome back to another Flare Corp Media camera tech thing. Today I'm looking at the Kondor Blue / Angelbird. It was a collaboration. CFexpress Type B recorder for your iPhone. It has MagSafe in it so that you can connect this directly to the MagSafe on the back of your phone, and that way you don't have something flopping around. Now, I'm not going to dive into what that is. What I'm interested in is how this is as a CFexpress card reader, because something like this Sony XQD card reader, CFexpress Type B as well, right now this is $99 on sale, but usually it's $115 or so. Whereas this is $99. Now, this is on back order. I just finally received mine after signing up for the back order quite a while ago. But is this worthwhile to buy even if you don't care about recording to your iPhone instead of one of these dedicated readers? Now, this can plug into your iPhone, no problem. It just won't stick on the back, and your iPhone will recognize it and be able to record directly to this. The same thing as this. The only thing this has going for it is the fact that it's MagSafe and has a quarter screw for screwing onto like a tripod head or something. But how is this for read speed? It's a USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2 device, which equates to 20 gigabits per second. Whereas this one and a lot of the other ones you'll see for sale on like B&H Photo or whatever, this is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 1, which means 10 gigabits per second. So 20 gigabits per second, 10 gigabits per second. We're going to test it with a 512 gig SanDisk Extreme Pro CFexpress Type B card. It has a read speed of 1700 megabytes per second. So that's going to put it around 13 gigabits per second. Okay, so let's put this in context then. 13 gigabits per second read speed, 10 gigabits per second read speed, theoretical, and theoretically 20 gigabits per second. So with this, this is what I've been using for the past year. I'm technically not even reading at full speed. So what we're going to do is basically, I have about 230 gigabytes of photos and videos from Nikon and Fuji, just a random assortment, ProRes, RAW, Fuji RAW, Nikon RAW, whatever. It's a lot of variable files. I'm going to go over to the computer and run this through Blackmagic Disk Speed Checker and see what kind of speeds we get out of this compared to this. Before we get into that though, let's just open this up and see what we get inside of it. This is a really rough unboxing since I'm just holding it here, but just to see what we're getting, and just dropped it. Now, this is significantly heavier than I was expecting. This is 65 grams according to the spec sheet, and this is 74 grams, but in my hand, this one weighs more. It's made out of pure metal, whereas this is plastic, so maybe that's tricking my brain. But you can see the big significant difference here is this is metal, so yes, it will act as a heat sink, absorbing that heat from these cards, because these cards do run hot. And this one has ventilation holes. So that's really what kind of drove me to ask the question, is this a good card reader? Should you just buy these instead of these, even if you're not planning to record to the iPhone? Or will this start to thermal throttle once the metal heat sink absorbs as much heat as it can? What else do we get in the box? Well, we get a USB-C cable, right angle to just regular, and then some paperwork, a teeny tiny little Allen key, and cardboard. So just to show you how this works, you plug this in here, and it's a pretty tight fit on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. that goes there. And yeah, like I said, it is not exactly what I would call secure. Okay, there, I got it on the MagSafe. Yeah, now it's secure, but this cable is definitely designed more for the iPhone 15 Pro, not the Max. Let's head over to the computer and start testing. We're at the computer. I've got the Blackmagic Disk Speed Test program running. I've got the Sony XQD plugged in. When we test this, I am going to plug them into the same port on my Mac, which one after the other. That way we're not competing with possibly this Thunderbolt port is wired differently into the CPU than this Thunderbolt. We're just going to do it in the same port. This is the MacBook Pro 16-inch M1 Max. Got the disk here, plug that in. Come here to the disk speed test and make sure we select the right target drive. Ask me why I'm pointing that out. It's not like I just did this whole thing and forgot to do that the first time. Okay, so we've got the right drive selected, and we'll click start. Oops, really dropping quite a bit there. So the write 844 and the read 829. So that's a little surprising because read is usually higher than write speed. You can see now what it's capable of writing using this. If I were to want to record directly to this, not able to read or write 8K, DCI 60, nor 12K. That's quite a bit. So we've got kind of a baseline here. We'll let this go one more time. And that's at, we'll stop the test. That was at 5 gigabytes. So let's drop it down to the middle ground at 3 gigabytes and start the test again. And that's a bit more reasonable. You can see we got one more box ticked on the right. We could write to that, this smaller file size. And now let's drop down once more to the 1 gigabyte and start one more time. You can see that's a lot faster at 1,600 megabytes per second. Write and read is 820. So the read hasn't really changed at all depending on what size we're selecting. So by writing these smaller file sizes, we can write faster. So now what I'm going to do is stop that. We're going to go back to the 3 gigabytes and let it run for 5 minutes straight and get a temperature reading. Right now it's been going for just a little bit, so it's 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 29.7 degrees Celsius, and the desk is 71 degrees Fahrenheit or 22 degrees Celsius. So you can tell already it's running a bit warmer than ambient, but let's let it run for that 5 minutes and we'll check it when we're done. We're at 5 minutes and you can see the write speed has tanked pretty bad. The read speed is still holding steady. Let's get a temperature on this. We're up to, depending on where I point it, 99, 100, 103 hot spot. So that's 40 degrees Celsius. So let's stop this real fast and let's jump over to the 1 gigabyte real fast. And yeah, you can see that write speed. We were getting, what, 1,500 before? And now we're way down. So we lost quite a bit due to heat. Now that the card's nice and hot, let's do a transfer of that 400-ish gigabytes of photos and videos. So it's these two files here. We're going to drop it onto my SSD. And I've already done this once so that it's cleared out the space needed on the SSD, the internal SSD. let's go ahead and start that. But let's let that go and we'll come back and check to see how long this takes. While we wait, now's a good time to tell you about this video's sponsor. Are you someone like me who's constantly juggling massive amounts of data? Maybe you're a photographer, a videographer, or just a digital hoarder. I'm not going to judge. Does the idea of losing that data fill you with dread? What if there's a fire or one of your precious SSDs decides to call it quits? Well, that's where this video's sponsor, Backblaze, comes in. For over 4 years, I personally have entrusted my digital life to Backblaze. I have over 4 terabytes securely backed up, and I found peace of mind knowing that my memories, projects, and hard work are safe and sound on a secure off-site server. But it's not just about storing your data. Backblaze goes above and beyond. Imagine accidentally deleting a crucial file or getting hit with a nasty virus that corrupts your work. With Backblaze, you're covered. They keep 30 days of file changes, so you can easily roll back to a safer version. And for those of us who have longer running projects, Backblaze offers extended version history options that let you save versions for a year or even forever. And to top it all off, Backblaze will back up all of your drives, whether it's an SSD, a hard drive, or even the CFexpress cards we've been using in this video. Backblaze has you covered. Just plug it in and Backblaze will handle the rest by automatically backing up the changes every time you plug it in. But you don't have to take my word for it. Try Backblaze for free for 15 days using my link in the video description below. There's no credit card required, just peace of mind. And by using my link, it's going to help my channel and let Backblaze know that I sent you over there. That's enough of that. Let's get back and take a look at the file progress. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Let's take another temperature reading. 110 degrees Fahrenheit. 111, 112, and that's 44 degrees Celsius, so it's gone up quite a bit. The outside feels mildly warm. And stop. 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Final temp check. Ooh, yeah, 113. Let's pull that card out and get a temperature on that. 132, 139. That's about 54, 57 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to let this card get back down to room temperature. I'm going to reset everything on here, and we will try with the Angelbird and see how that performs. Just had a little lunch break, so the card is back down to room temperature. It's been sitting for about 30 minutes. Let's pop it into the Angelbird now. Angelbird Kondor Blue. It's sold on Kondor Blue. So it's basically the Angelbird disc guts and the Kondor Blue cables. Because Angelbird, they make like SSDs and memory cards and things like that. So it's a collab. We've got that fired up. Let's make sure we select the target drive. Open. And let's go back up to 5 like last time. Let's let that run a couple times here. Get an initial temperature, 23 Celsius and 74 degrees. So that's room temperature, same temperature as the desk. So if I recall last time, I'll put overlays here to correct this, but if I recall last time I was getting a read speed of about 820 megabytes per second, and now we seem to be averaging a little higher. So that's at the 5 gigabyte level, so let's drop back down to 3 and let that run. Write speeds are a little slow. 888. I know the read speed is definitely higher than with the Sony. Okay, so now let's stop and let's move to the 1 gigabyte. There we go. 1390 for the write and 887 for the read. I feel like we got higher write speeds on this. So I think that's enough to get an average. So let's stop that and go back to the 3 gigabytes and let's do the 5-minute heat test. Starting out, we are at 82 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's 28 degrees Celsius. So let that go for 5 minutes and come back and check out the performance drop. Getting close to the end of our 5-minute test, so let's take a look at temperatures. The outside is 100, 98, 99, 100, 103, 105, 107. So 107, so I feel that was what we got up to on this, was 107. It kind of depends on where I put it. If I'm towards the end where the card is, it's obviously a lot hotter than the back. But yeah, let's just say 107. That's going to be that 42 degrees Celsius. So there's 5 minutes. I don't think it dropped as much. I feel like we really tanked a lot more on this, but I have a really bad memory, so I feel like it's still doing pretty good. So let's stop that and let's do our copy before it cools down. So again, we will grab those two. Let me get my stopwatch ready. 8 minutes and 15 seconds is the time to beat. And go. We're getting down to the end, so let's take another temperature reading. 109, 110, ooh, I may have caught the card there. 116, 112, 43 degrees Celsius. It's quite warm. Like touching it, it's uncomfortably warm. I wouldn't want to touch much hotter than that. It's not going to burn me from prolonged contact, but it's, even though they're close in temperature, this one felt a lot cooler than this does. This I thought was just mildly warm, whereas this is significantly warm. Let's get our timer ready here. 8 minutes and 7 seconds. So we beat it by what? 8 seconds? Was that it? Let's pull out the card and take a look at what our final card temperature is. 118, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 51 degrees Celsius. Results time. I have tabulated the data and proven that, yes, I do have a really bad memory as I was looking at the numbers for the Kondor. Overall, the Sony performed better on the write, whereas the Kondor performed better on the read. It was a lot closer than I expected. So let's take a look at the numbers here. Here's our theoretical maximums of the card. So we had 1700 megabytes per second read and 1400 megabytes per second write. And you can see the Sony on the writes consistently outperformed the Kondor Blue. And in some places, quite a bit more. And in right here on the 1 gigabyte write speed, it beat the theoretical maximum of this card. I'm not sure how that happens. I tried checking megabyte versus mebibyte to see if that would have done it, but that still doesn't account for the differences. So I have no idea how that happened, but I went back and reviewed the footage, and it does get 16 into the 1600s on the write speed. So, I don't know how they measure the write speed on here, but there it is. I have no idea. If you know, please let me know in the comments down below, because I can't figure it out. The write speed for the Kondor Blue is 1367, which is really close to the theoretical write speed, and that would make sense since the theoretical maximum for this is 2500. That would mean the card was the bottleneck. So I have no idea how this number got here. It's even more than the theoretical maximum of the 10 gigabits per second, which is 1250. I have no idea. But the read speeds on the Kondor Blue were about 50 megabytes per second faster than the Sony. But when it came to the 5-minute heat burn-in test, the Sony really struggled to dissipate that heat, even with this event here. You can see it lost about, here's the 3 gigabyte, 948. It lost, gosh, 400 megabytes per second on the write speed. The read speed stayed pretty close, so not a whole lot of drop there. And additionally, the Sony's outer shell got 1 degree hotter than the Kondor Blue's, but the card got a lot hotter at 139 degrees versus 122. Obviously, you want to keep your card cooler. It's going to help with the data writing. It's going to make it more secure. It's going to put less wear and tear on your card. And that difference of 17 degrees Fahrenheit would definitely account for this 400 megabytes per second drop in speed for the writing. So aside from this anomaly, everything seems to check out. And the moral of the story is that we did not get anywhere near the 20 gigabits per second maximum that this can do. I don't know if we had a faster card, if we would be able to get that or not, or we just hit the, it's USB 3.2 by 2, but it doesn't really come close to that. I don't know, but I think we can safely say that if you want to pick one of these up as a reader for your camera or something, rather than this, I don't think there's any reason not to. The read speeds are faster on this anyway than one of these. And if you're using it as a reader for your computer anyway, all you really care about is the read speeds, because odds are you're not going to be writing to one of your cards from your computer. Usually just writing from your camera. So this was just kind of a interesting, I'm curious type of video. I know there's not a whole lot to glean out of it, but you know, am I going to stop using this and pull this one out? No, it's not a big enough difference. I'll keep this one around in my bag, so that way I have one on the go and I can connect it to my iPhone should I want to record in ProRes 60 frames per second. Otherwise, I'll keep this one here at my desk, and now I have two. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. If you appreciated the information in it, or at least found it entertaining, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It helps other people find my video when they're looking for this type of thing, and also helps the channel grow. And if you want to get notified when more of these videos come up, I try to do these videos that maybe there's not a answer for out there in the world, then go ahead and subscribe and you will see my video pop up on your subscription feed. If you want to pick up one of these, I'll have an affiliate link for the Sony. You get a little commission, doesn't cost you anything. If you want to pick one of these up, if you want to pick up one of these, I will have a non-affiliated link to the Kondor Blue website, because that's the only place you can get them right now. And as I'm filming, this is on back order. They do make a SD card version. This is the CFexpress Type B version, so this is going to have higher speeds. I'll have that link down below as well. Until next time, I'm doing what I love. Keep doing what you love. Thanks for watching.